So, hello, listeners. Welcome to another edition of Corporate Elements, where we normally talk about office related topics which you normally never will get trained on. All right. So, today's topic is all about office politics. So, my name is Johnny, and I am joined with Robbie, and we will be today talking about office politics. So, just to kickstart this particular topic, I will give you a brief textbook definition, which is taken from Merriam-Webster. So, office politics refers to the activities, attitudes, or behavior that are used to gain or maintain power or influence within an organization. While it is often a negative connotation, understanding office politics can lead to better relationships and improved teamwork. So, about office politics, just to kick off things, what is your perspective, Robbie?
Thank you, John. From my perspective, I think firstly, it is a process that you need to go through in order to succeed. Secondly, I believe I used to exhibit dogmatic mindset. And by that, I mean, I used to see things as black and white or right or wrong. Unfortunately, that was not the case. What I understand is that no matter how much you run away from it, you are going to be part of office politics.
So let's say, for example, office politics is all about the politics that happens in the organization. So there is a lot of myth that it always gets connected to office politics, that it's dirty, it does not make any sense to have this particular office politics or to be part of it. So some of these myths, let's just delve right into. So first myth that I've heard a lot about is office politics is everywhere, but you can stay out of it. What do you think?
Like you said, there are many misconceptions around office politics. Okay. People tend to avoid it. People find it toxic. Some people had said that it's dangerous. And like you said, that yes, you cannot stay out of it. And it's a myth. If you think that you're going to stay out of it, no, you cannot do that. Because it is impossible to avoid office politics entirely because they exist in every workplace. I remember reading one article from Harvard Business Review wherein the writer mentioned, in spite of working for 2 decades into corporate, public sector, private sector, and even in a non-profit organization, the individual carried the myth throughout the career, believing that they will stay out of office politics and they will win. But unfortunately, the individual was laid off with an excuse under the guise that there was a budget constraint. Later, it was explained that the individual couldn't build connections with the people holding dynamic powers related to the count of team members in the respective project.
So in a way, he was, to put it very plainly, not a team player.
In fact, the person was a team player.
Okay.
But just the person couldn't build a relationship with the person who was holding power to advocate the job role.
Correct.
So that is the reason the person has to laid off.
So next myth that I would like to, and I think I'm personally have some experience of it, is that it's all about gossip and manipulation.
No. But it's not about gossip and manipulation. For example, if a colleague builds a strong alliance with the team members, maybe by sharing ideas or, collaborating with a project and fostering mutual trust, they can gain influence not through gossip, but in fact by being helpful and dependable. I remember one person having a very positive attitude into the team, taking participation in the activities, collaborating with the yes attitude, putting extra hours whenever required. Without the influence and without the gossip, the person did get recognized that respective year.
And normally, there is another myth that you have to be fake, you have to, inherently have that negative mindset as such that you have to be scared of things or scared of people. I'm sorry.
Instead of pretending to be fake, what you can do is you can put your opinions assertively. Okay, for example, in a discussion where you are not in fact agreeing with your manager's opinion, or you are sharing your perspective or explain how it aligns with the team's goal, I think over time your honesty will earn you trust and credibility.
Correct.
So being authentic will definitely lead to building good relationship within the team.
and
in fact improve teamwork.
And like I've also heard that the office politics is limited to leadership roles, or top management. What about this?
For example, I have seen a scenario where there's a junior team member and they noticed that the decisions were influenced by informal chats during the break, and they start engaging in this discussion to gain insights and help them contribute more effectively. And wherever there was an open door policy into the process, and the juniors were allowed to go ahead and speak their minds with the leaders, and in fact that did promote a good positive environment and exchange of ideas which help team to get more efficient. So I think that's one of the myth that it is just limited to leaders.
And also, one last thing that a lot of people have said is that you have to, a lot of times, play with your own ethics and morals to, gain momentum in office politics. What is your opinion?
I believe that you can succeed in office politics without compromising your values or ethics. And if you are doing your work honestly, and if you are documenting your recognitions, and you are promoting yourself, and instead of spreading rumors and rival colleague, or you just focus on your own accomplishment and contribution, and you are being pretty assertive in asking and believing what you think is right, and if you believe in your caliber, and I think there is no by means that you are sacrificing your ethics.
Yeah, okay. So to sum it all, like whatever I sought, so to based on the discussion with you, you have said that we cannot stay out of it because you are always a part of the office. So in directly, indirectly, you will always be part of the office politics, and it's not always about gossip and manipulation, right? It's about collaboration as well, and you don't have to be always fake. You have to be very careful. Why exactly are you into the office politics? So if you are in that mindset that I have to maintain the bureaucracy and the egos, probably yes, you have to have that kind of mindset that okay, this will work when my intentions are clear, rather than being fake about it. I think we have to have quite clear intentions of why you should have a certain mindset so that it affects the politics or office dynamics in a very positive way. And finally, you don't have to be like, it's not limited to leaders only, it can be at junior level as well. So say if it's an analyst, senior analyst, etc., so even they have a certain amount of politics, of course at the ground level, but yes, there is politics over there as well. And finally, you don't have to sacrifice about your ethics or
Right.
your morals to be that way. You always have an option, is
Right.
what I felt with the whole discussion that I had with you. So now the next topic of discussion when it comes to office politics is about power dynamics. So power dynamics is about who holds the power in the office. So can we have a little bit of insight on this particular portion?
Yes. For that, maybe you can look into your organizational structure or your team that you're working for or you're managing. The structure is pretty straightforward. There is a formal authority where managers has authority to assign the task and evaluate the performance. That is a simple structure that goes the hierarchy level. And there is also an informal influence. Okay. By that, what I meant is, for example, there is an experienced employee whose advice is sought by peers and managers alike. I was working in a process where new leadership was hired, and the existing tenured employee was having a lot of knowledge. So that is also a kind of informal influence. Maybe that experienced employee has a certain power. And also, I have seen people, senior employees, withholding information, influencing and manipulating for their benefits. And for example, there is a resource control.
Correct.
Okay. A project manager who controls funding for a team initiative. Those who control the resource, for example, such as budgets, key client relationship, they often hold significant power. And we already spoke a little bit about the knowledge power.
Correct.
Being a senior employee, maybe an IT specialist, or example in the tech industries, or where they have developed codes during the beginning of the during the startup era. So that knowledge holds in fact a lot of power, because the senior tenured employee have it, and the new employee, and because of the change in system and the change in technologies, you cannot rewrite those codes. That's what I understand. So, and also there is a cultural power. For example, if someone who embodies the company core values and often seen as a role model, they value punctuality or the company core value, for example, taking ownership, and someone who's like naturally coming forward or taking ownership and responsibilities and additional duties. So, such employees are aligned with the organizational culture and may gain advantage in decision making and recognition. And no doubt, if they are getting recognized.
So you also mentioned a particular thing called as a manipulative behavior. So what exactly, or how manipulative behavior can undermine trust and create conflicts? What are like the basic signs that you have come across?
Manipulative behavior means that it could be deceptive or it can be controlling or exploitative tactics. Okay, we discussed one of the manipulative behavior is withholding information. If someone is deliberately keeping critical details from someone to make them fail or appear incompetent, I can give you a classic example. So we have this system, banking system, where we run certain queries and we fetch data, transactional data. And if I don't have that knowledge, then I have to go to the old school manual, logging into the website and look into each transaction manually. So if someone is withholding this information and not sharing that knowledge with me, it's taking a lot of time for me to get the task done. So the teammate who doesn't share a key update about the project, or that could lead to mistakes, that could reflect poorly on the other team member. Other manipulative behavior, which is pretty much wide open, that is taking credit for others' work. I see that a coworker, if you have shared an idea in a meeting or in person, say for example, and the person understands the benefit or the potential of the idea, it's really effective. That person could go and pitch it to the leadership. That is what is taking credit. So this is one of the classic example of taking for others' work, where someone is claiming responsibility for someone else's contribution. That is a manipulative behavior. For example, a manager which is frequently implies that the extra work shows lack of commitment to the team, the kind of environment they are creating. It is also one of the example of manipulation behavior.
Okay. And obviously, there is also something that I've seen a lot is, you pit colleagues against each other. Sometimes I have seen that as well, that, the seeds of competition are sown by, sometimes colleagues can get into this unsaid, unspoken rivalry as well.
Yeah.
As that, I think that has also been one of the, one of the behaviors that I've seen in manipulation. So as we have spoken a lot about office politics and power dynamics, so how should one navigate through office politics effectively? So, like, what are the steps, or what do you think are the pointers that you can give to a newcomer? So, say if 10 years back, like for example, when you had come in, how were you then, and what have you learned on in this particular journey?
Speaking of one of the manipulative behavior is like taking credit for others' work, and it had happened with me in the past. If someone did that to me a long time back, I used to stay quiet, and I used to resent the person, or I used to be angry, but I used to do nothing about it. But now, if someone does that to me, I will have an open conversation. I will go to the person and I will say, I noticed that only your name is mentioned in the credit or into the project, since we both have worked. And I think in the upcoming projects, I would appreciate if my name is also mentioned along with you. And I will try to address all this situation, calmly in a professional manner. I will sit with the person, I will confront this behavior, and I will show that how together we can, align our goals and work towards the industry or towards the company. Other thing we can do is to document the interactions. We can keep the records of emails, conversation, and agreements to counter any deceit. And this is very common during the performance evaluation or during the performance review.
Correct.
It is important to do that. And in case if there is any third party involvement is required, that is from the leadership or from the HR, that if the manipulative behavior persists or it escalates, then I think it's important that we report it to someone in authority to ensure the accountability. If things went the other way, if something wrong happened and you are one to blame, if you have done nothing, then maybe it's better to be transparent about it and highlight it to the authority. So firstly, it is very important to recognize and address this manipulative behavior because it's protect both the individual and the team.
Correct.
And it does create, more respectful and transparent workplace environment.
So yes, that's completely understandable because a lot of times when you're a victim of the office politics, and I have seen that a lot of employees start resenting each other because even staying in the same team, it kind of creates a very negative environment. And then a lot of times you sort of give up and like, no, I don't want to be part of this, and I think my skills are better applied, and I can do something else. So if there was a way to deal with it, which you have quite nicely explained, that oh, first of all, you have to understand why this thing happened. Okay. You have to also understand the perspective of others in a way, and then try to be very careful as to how you deal with these people.
Right.
So you always put things on email, or probably you document everything, you involve the required authorities, and you try to maintain a cordial relationship and not burn the bridges, is
Right.
basically. So because you have to keep on dealing with these people. So even if you leave this job and you go somewhere else, you might have to face this again and again.
Right.
You can't be always leaving the job. What if you are really good at that job, or you're really good at your work, and if you're passionate about it, but if this keeps happening and you have to keep on leaving the organization, then it sort of becomes a repetitive cycle, and you kind of lose the essence that, oh, I want to make a difference at work, or I want to be, more
Right.
effective at
You
work.
lose
So
motivation.
so dealing with it is the first thing that you have to do,
Right.
because office politics is everywhere. Manipulative people are everywhere.
Right.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, is how the quote goes, right? So you have to be like, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with the mess as well. It's not something that you can avoid completely. So a very good way of dealing that you have said, and this will help to build a kind of a strong network, obviously, and it will help you to navigate through the organizational culture that they have set up, and build a focus on the collaboration part. And also from your perspective as well, I feel that it will help you maintain your own integrity perspective, that oh, I am keeping my integrity intact by doing these things. And then that strategy of that how will I grow through this office politics is also very important, which obviously you have explained very nicely, that okay, this will help you maintain your own strategy as well. And finally, what I feel, or what you have very nicely put it across by giving your own experiences, people can observe and learn, right? So that will help you to navigate effectively in this particular office politics and power dynamic situation, right?
Agree. And on a personal front, what I do is I try to limit, I set boundaries. I don't add people on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, because they give them, like it opens the door to the personal
Correct.
level, and people are judgmental. I think I believe that everyone is observing and people are learning. And what you can do is you can be authentic. You can show genuine interest in other people. I try to find out what is common between, for example, me and you. And if I find that this is okay, you like cricket, then I will try and create a bond between us. This will help for me to collaborate, and one of the main focus will be on collaboration for sure. And at the same time, I need to practice empathy, because I've been told that I'm not empathetic enough. Obviously there are some sensitive experience that you might have been through, which I may not able to relate. But
Correct.
I may not share my views and opinions on that. But I'll try and understand other people's perspective and motivation. And in any case, what I can do, if I'm not able to do anything else, I'll try and be there, maybe on offer a support to any colleagues in case if they need any assistance. The best part is to celebrate the wins together. I will, the one thing I'm good at, that I have been told, I observe little things about the people's, their achievements and their daily growth, what they're doing, and I focus and I try to ensure that I validate them.
Correct.
Because they're putting so much effort in making that change happen or becoming that person in a life. And I focus on that part because I like to think that I am a positive person. So these are the little things and practices which I usually follow, and I think that surely helps me to understand and observe and learn the
Correct.
behavior, and it helped me so far, and I'm still learning. So I think this will help me navigate the workplace more effectively, and taking this interest in people's life, especially the one who are influential stakeholder. So I think that will create a positive environment.
So it was really awesome chatting about this particular topics, and we'll continue this conversation later. And there are a lot of other interesting things we are left with. So we'll be back with some more information for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.